third, fourth, fifth grade, what's the first thing I learned? How to duck and cover. How to run down hallways in a zigzag way. It's having a profound impact on their psyches. I'm for real. I spoke in London at the National Psychiatric Association and the American Psychiatric Association. The one generation with the greatest anxiety for the first time in American history is the so-called Z generation. Kids between the ages of 7 and 17. You know what their greatest fear is? Being shot in school. Being shot in school. The idea that we talk about moral depravity, the NRA owns the White House right now. Look, I believe in the Second Amendment. I have a 20-gauge shotgun and a 12-gauge shotgun. I skeet shoot. I haven't even done that in a long while. My two sons, one of them passed away, they duck hunt. They have shotguns. We protect geese internationally flying over our border more than we do people. You can only have 3 shells in your shotgun if you're goose hunting. Not a joke. Why in God's name should somebody be able to have 100 rounds in a clip? We found ourselves in a situation where the only person ever taken on the NRA, which basically owns the Oval right now, only person who's taken it on and won is me. I've beaten him 3 times last year. I was the guy that led the fight to pass the Brady Bill, allowing background checks. The Constitution doesn't say the Second Amendment's absolute any more than the First Amendment. If right now somebody stood up and yelled fire, you could be arrested. That's not free speech because someone could get hurt. You can't yell no amendment is absolute. It doesn't say anybody can own a gun. If you're mentally deranged, or if you're in a position where you in fact are a terrorist or you have a significant record, you can't own a gun. You can't own one. It's not, the Constitution doesn't guarantee you that right. So my generic point is, what's going on here? Well, guess what? More people are being, there's a mass shooting 20 miles from here, the largest mass shooting in American history occurred with a guy with 100 rounds in clips shooting down people in a matter of minutes. In a matter of minutes. It makes no sense at all. 0 sense at all. And so we can stop it. We can stop it, and we can stop it quickly. And I promise you, when I'm your president, I will once again ban assault weapons, and once again, the third thing I'd raise with you all is that, these past several years, what's happened is the middle class is being crushed. We're no longer the wealthiest, we no longer have the wealthiest middle class in the world. You have over half the American people who qualify to be part of the middle class saying they don't believe their children will ever reach the state of economic security they reached, period. That's never happened before in the lifetime of anyone in this room. It's never happened before. You have studies showing that if the average person received a bill for $400 in a month they didn't anticipate, they'd have to borrow the money or sell something to pay for it. There's virtually no security. And by the way, middle class isn't a number. I have economists who work for me telling me the middle class is 52,500 or 53,000. It's a value set. It's being able to send your kid to a park where you know they're going to come home safely. It's being able to send your kid to a local public school. If they do well, they can go on beyond school. It's being able to make sure that if they get to that school and do well, and they're able to go beyond that, you'll be able to figure out how to pay for it. It's about being able to take home your geriatric mom after dad passes away. It's being able to make sure and hope your kids never have to take care of you. It's about peace of mind. And guess what? It doesn't exist very much anymore. Go back to the old neighborhoods. People don't think they're in the same position. My dad, like many of you maybe, made what I call the longest walk up a short flight of stairs to my bedroom and he said, "Joey, we gotta move." Dad lost his job. I don't know how. I don't know how we're going to make, but I tell you what, it's going to work out. You're going to go home and live with Grandpa for a while, you and the kids. And he believed that it was going to be okay. I remember him saying, we're going to move back down, I'm going to move down to Wilmington, where he went from 3rd grade to 11th grade. And it's going to be okay, and he meant it. Well, guess what? Not many people can say that anymore. They make that walk and they look at their kids in the eye and they're not able to say, I'm confident. I'm confident we'll get an even shot. Because people aren't getting an even shot. The way in which we deal with people now. The way in which corporate America has changed. I come from the corporate state of the world, Delaware. More corporations anywhere in the country. But here's the deal. I even had the Business Roundtable, the biggest corporation in the world, come to me last year as vice president and say, can you help us change the culture back? Because everything's short term. There's a study where for the 10-year period for 2014 to 2004 to 2014, corporations made over $1 trillion. They had the best years they've ever had. And guess what? They in fact gave they gave their stockholders a dividends, and they bought back their stock. 56% of them bought back their own stock. The rest went to stockholders, which is okay. And they left 9% for everything else. For wages, for investment, for new research, for development. Serious. And they said, we've got to change it. We're eating our seed corn. Well, guess what? Now they think there's no obligation to their workers. No obligation. Well, that's not who we've been. That's not been the corporate culture of the past. But it's been the corporate culture of late. People have a right to be able to make a decent living if they break their neck to do the job they're assigned to do. And the last point I'll make is this. We have to start to invest in education again. In the United States, your education shouldn't depend on your zip code. The fact of the matter, it does though. You know, the so-called Title I schools, some of you are educators. Title I schools are schools that have very small tax base, low tax base. They don't have enough people with significant money based on the property tax to have the best teachers, to hire, to offer the best salaries, etc. And so what I do, I come along and I say, here's what we're going to do. Instead of spending this $15 billion we apply to these schools, we raise that to $45 billion a year. And we can do that, not very difficult to do that of a budget that's well over $1 trillion. The fact is, if we do that, guess what we can do? We can start to pay teachers' salaries. Decent salaries. Already, 115,000 teachers short enough. By 2025, we're going to be short 250,000 teachers. What does that mean for our children? It's very, and by the way, how many of you have been on school boards so you find you have to make a hard choice? Do you hire another teacher, or do you hire a social worker for the school? Or do you hire a school nurse? Or do you hire a school psychologist? We have one school psychologist for every 1,507 kids in America now. It used to be close to 1 to 500. One of the things you can do is early on detect problems with children quickly. If they have school psychology, not to commit them, but to know how to help them get through the anxiety they're dealing with. We can make such progress. School nurses. But guess what? With that money, you're going to require everybody 3, 4, and 5 years old to go to school, not daycare. Not daycare. Every study of every great university you attended shows it increases by well over 50%. The prospect these kids will go all the way through school without any difficulty, regardless of the background they come from, giving them an even chance. Here. So there's so much we can do. The point is this. We have to start treating one another with decency. We have to have a government that, in fact, deals with people honestly. We have to have a president who does not weaponize the Defense Department, does not weaponize the elements of government, does not turn them into tools of abuse, because that's what's happening. That's what's happening now. I challenge anyone in here to suggest to me that there's ever been a time when the Justice Department has been used as a personal lawyer and personal vendetta like this guy is doing it. And now that the Senate didn't have the courage, I used to be very proud of the fact that I was a senator for so long. But the fact that they all acknowledged he did what he did and said, but it's not worth impeaching it for. He learned his lesson. When he learned his lesson, he has no constraints now. None. But folks, you know, when the Carney show comes through town the first time, and you find out there's no pee in any one of the 3 shells, the next time it comes around, you go, whoa, wait a minute, I ain't buying that. Let me end by saying the following. And I believe this, I got elected to the Senate when I was a 29-year-old kid. I wasn't even old enough to be sworn in. No, I really wasn't. I'm the first senator I ever knew. And the Gov can tell you that's true. I wasn't old enough to be sworn in when I got elected.